Hello friends, and welcome back to another virtual story time with Miss Liz. Today we are reading a book about friendship and about missing our good friends. Today's book is called Juna's Jar. It is written by Jane Bahk and illustrated by Felicia Hoshino. This book is published by Lee and Low Books. Let's see what's going to happen. Juna's Jar by Jane Bahk, illustrated by Felicia Hoshino. Junas family always had a large jar of kimchi in their fridge. Kimchi is a traditional Korean food. It is made with salted, fermented vegetables. It can be a little tangy, a little spicy, kind of like pickles, if you know what those taste like. So this is Juna and this is Juna's brother, and they're eating kimchi together with chopsticks and spoons. After they finished eating all the kimchi, Juna sometimes got to keep the empty jar. Look at how big that jar is. I bet she can fit some really cool things inside. Juna loved to take the jar and go on adventures with her best friend, Hector. They went to the park near their apartment building to collect colorful rocks and small bugs. Looks like here they have a caterpillar. Once, Hector found a green caterpillar. Juna worried that it wouldn't have what it needed to make a cocoon, so they let it go. So here is Juna, here is her best friend Hector. Hector is reading a book about bugs, and I think that's how they're learning about their new caterpillar friend. One morning, Juna went looking for Hector to go on another kimchi jar adventure. She ran downstairs to his grandmother's apartment. Hector used to live with his grandmother. "Hi, abuelita," Juna said to Hector's grandmother. "Can Hector come out to play?" "Hola, Juna," Hector's grandmother said, giving her a hug. "I'm sorry, Hector is not here." Then she told Juna that his parents had come the day before and taken Hector to live with them in a big house far away. Hector had wanted to say goodbye, but Juna was not home. Oh no! Here is Abuelita, that's Hector's grandmother, giving Juna a hug, and poor Juna looks very sad. She just learned that her best friend went away and she wasn't able to say goodbye. Oh, that is very sad. Juna was very sad. When she got back home, her big brother, Minho, tried to cheer her up. He took Juna to Mr. Lee's pet shop and bought her a small fish. Look at that cute little fish. It looks so happy. Juna put it in the kimchi jar, and she watched the fish swim in circles inside. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on a diving mask and fins and dove into the water. I think she might be dreaming that she's swimming with her pet fish. Juna's fish took her everywhere. They swam with sea turtles and played with dolphins and discovered a giant clam. "Can you help me find my friend Hector?" Juna asked her fish. They swam to a dark underwater cave. Hector wasn't there, but they found huge snakes slithering in the sand. When Juna got closer, she saw they were actually tentacles. Juna wondered if they belonged to an octopus or a giant squid. "I wish Hector was here," Juna thought. "He knows everything about animals." Looks like if we see it closer, it was an octopus that had the tentacles. So Juna was not able to find Hector that night. The next day, Juna's fish had grown so big its mouth nearly touched its tail. "Oppa, my fish needs more space," Juna said to Minho. And with his help, Juna put her fish in the aquarium in their living room. And Juna's jar was empty again. Here she is cleaning it out, so maybe she can put something else inside. Minho had an idea. He gave Juna a small bean plant he had grown at school for science class. They found some soil and carefully put the plant in the jar. There it is. Look how teeny it is. And that night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on hiking boots and climbed down the plant into a lush green rainforest. Wow, she has a great imagination. Juna swung on vines, climbed a tree with a sloth, and sang with howler monkeys. "Have you seen my friend Hector?" she asked them all. One monkey pointed to the river and jumped away. As Juna got closer, she saw that the rocks in the river began to move. They weren't rocks at all. It was the back of an alligator or a crocodile. Juna wasn't sure which one it was. "I wish Hector was here," she thought. "He would know if this was an alligator or a crocodile." It can be hard to tell because alligators and crocodiles look a lot alike. The next day, Juna's plant had almost reached the ceiling. "Oppa, my plant grew too big for my jar," Juna said. Minho helped Juna put the plant into a large pot on their balcony. And Juna's jar was empty again. What do you think will go in next? Ooh, look in the background. Do you see on Juna's wall, she's hanging pictures of all the things she saw on her adventures in the jar, when she was underwater and when she was in the rainforest. I think she's going to go on another adventure soon. Minho and Juna walked to the park, and a cricket chirped in the bushes. Juna quietly snuck up to the cricket and cupped her hands around it, and then she placed it gently into her jar. Minho helped her find twigs and leaves, and they put them in the jar too. When they got home, Juna punched holes in the lid of the jar so the cricket could breathe. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on goggles and a helmet and hopped on to the cricket's back. Look at that. That looks like a very kind cricket. See it smile. Juna and the cricket rode through the night sky together. They flew over tall buildings that looked like giant steps leading to the moon. They followed a trail of cars that lit up the hill like a string of holiday lights. Then the cricket landed on a windowsill of a big house, and Juna peeked into the window, and there was Hector, asleep in his bed. And on the bedside table was the kimchi jar that Juna had given him. Hector looked like he was having happy dreams. Juna smiled. "Bye, Hector," she whispered. And then she hopped on the cricket's back and flew home. Isn't that nice that Juna was able to visit her friend Hector, saw that he was still thinking about her because he had the gift that she gave him, and she was able to say goodbye in her own special way. By the next day, the cricket's antennae had poked through the holes in the jar's lid. "Oppa, the cricket grew too big for my jar too," Juna said. So Minho and Juna walked to the park and set the cricket free. Juna's jar was empty again. Juna looked around the park and wondered what she could put in her jar next. I wish, she thought, but just then, look what I found, a girl behind her said. Can we put it in your jar? Juna turned around. A green inchworm was wriggling up the girl's arm. Juna smiled and held out her jar. Well, look at that. Juna may have just found a new friend to share adventures with. And her kimchi jar is just the thing to help her start up a new friendship. We don't get to see what happens next, though, because that is the end. And you can imagine in your own mind what you think will happen next in the story. I hope you all enjoyed reading Juna's Jar with me today, and I will see you all tomorrow for more great books. Thanks for watching.